Hi guys, it's Jillian from Barn Baron soap, goat milk soap, Barn Baron goat milk soap, and lotions, and shampoo bars, and lip balms, and facial skincare. Anyway, we're out today in this beautiful fall afternoon, just letting the goats free graze out on the grass, take care of all these crunchy leaves that they love to eat, and the acorns. So they're out grazing the property and well, getting into trouble, I'm sure. So I had this whole plan of, I was going to talk to you about our pasture, but I really, because my goats are so mischievous, cannot be on another part of the property where my goats are not. So again, we're just going to follow them around. Maybe I'll talk to you about, well, some of the stuff that we've got going here. Well, I've learned a lot since I've lived here. A lot about, like, if you look at some of the stuff that's growing in my grass, a lot of it may appear to be weeds, but it's really not. They're medicinal, they're edible, and it's been really interesting, thanks to Google Lens, to look up what they are, what they're used for, if they're poisonous, if they're not poisonous, and so it's been really neat. So this thing right here, I was super excited because I thought, oh, I heard elderberries are a really great thing here, and they grow pretty readily, and they're really good for your immune system. And I thought, oh great, we have them, right? That's a big no. So this is the plant that I thought was it, right? You've got these beautiful black succulent berries on there, but the red stem is the giveaway. So these are, I believe, pokeberries, and as enticing and delicious as they look, juicy as they look, they are very toxic, right? Very toxic. You don't want to confuse those for elderberries because, well, it won't pan out well. So we have quite a bit of those on our property, and it's really quite a disappointment because I was really excited thinking that I didn't have to try and grow elderberries, that they were just here naturally, but that's not the case. One of the other things that's here on the property that I was super excited about was this really pathetic, oops, I'm gonna fall, this really pathetic plum tree. Before we moved out here, it was just very flush with plums, and I was waiting and waiting for them to get ripe enough to pick, and I thought, okay, well, next weekend they should be ripe enough to pick. And so I waited, and next weekend I came out and they were picked off, is what they were. Nothing left. All the animals, birds, whatever, came and picked them clean. Picked it clean. Not even anything dropped on the ground. So, and since then it really hasn't produced, but it looks like it's been neglected quite a bit over the years. I tried to do some trimming this last year, but I don't know. I think there's another branch, but this thing just, it might be past its prime. It may just be time to stop and start over, which really sucks because I don't have a green thumb. And so getting things past that nurturing stage where they're really doing well, I'm not so good at that. Let's see, I've planted 2 apple trees, a lemon tree, a pear tree, an avocado tree, a banana tree, and and a maple tree, and a curly willow tree, and a willow tree. And ask me how many of them are still alive. How many? What? Ooh. One. One of them is still alive. And it's struggling. Of course, this drought isn't helping any, but needless to say, it's struggling. So one of the really cool things that I learned here Because we don't use fertilizer or pesticides or insecticides, what we grow in our yard is edible. So I had heard about dandelion jelly, and so I went out when all the dandelions were pretty and yellow, and I gave the bees time to go use them for their nectar and pollinate, and picked all the flowers that were ready, and still left some for more bees. But I made a dandelion jelly, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It's so light, and it's not, like when I make jellies and stuff like that, I use less sugar than what the recipe requires because they're just too sweet for me. But it was perfect. It was perfect how I made it, and I absolutely loved it. I still have a jar or two. But we also have red bud trees, and that's one thing that I'm going to make one of these days. I'm really not a huge jelly fan. Or I mean, I can't say a jelly fan because I do like it. I just don't eat a lot of it. Not enough to make it. But anyway, one of these days, just for fun, I'm going to figure out how to make the red bud jelly. It's this beautiful magenta color. I think I want to make it just because of the color. It's cool looking. Anyway, I'd really like to have some fruit. I tried growing a garden. Yeah, that's my garden over there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if we can pan in a little bit. Yeah. It got overgrown very, very quickly. And it didn't get overgrown while it was growing my garden. That came afterwards because I got frustrated and I gave up. So again, like I said, I don't really have a green thumb. For some reason I can grow tomatoes. I hate tomatoes. I hate them. But they do make good salsa and good spaghetti sauce. So I'm growing my tomatoes. They're looking good. I'm growing my peppers. The peppers grow really well here. My oregano, my basil, it's all looking really good, right? Can't grow cilantro to save my life. My garlic just all disappeared. I don't know what happened to that. It was looking really good. 5 rows of garlic and not a single one. Not a single one. Anyway, doing really well. But if the goats got out, they'd go and eat my garden. Now, you're probably looking at me saying, duh, goats eat everything. That's not necessarily true. They don't necessarily eat everything, but they damn sure eat the things you don't want them to eat, like your garden, right? Yeah. So they ate all the leaves off and dropped all the peppers, ate all the leaves off my pepper tree. I had like 3 serrano peppers and 3 jalapeno peppers, and they were beautiful. I was able to get some peppers off of it before they destroyed it, but and then I had 2 varieties of tomatoes. They were looking beautiful, and I had cages around them and everything, and they just weren't strong enough. So I mean, obviously if you have goats, you have to have a fence around your garden. Well, I started building the fence, and then I ran out of fence, and 3/4 of a fence is just as good as no fence. Yeah, what the heck was I thinking? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 3/4 of a pie is almost as good as a whole pie. I'd take it. But 3/4 of a fence in a garden did 0 to protect it. So then I got frustrated and just let the weeds grow up. But what did grow really well there were the, boy, you're silly. Look at that silly boy. Silly boy. Are you being a silly boy? Look at that silly boy. Okay, what did grow well was the watermelon and the cantaloupes. So I'll probably do that again. The goats did not have any interest in eating those. So I'll probably do that again. And throw some pumpkins down, you know, things like that. Maybe some green beans. I am going to try and grow some tobacco. It's a good source of natural dewormer. And I'm going to try and grow that around the fence line so that they can get to a little bit of it, but not the whole thing, because they will absolutely destroy a plant all the way down And they'll even pull out the roots and then go and try and paint with it. They're silly. Very silly. But, yeah. So I kind of have given up on growing things. I have a bowl full of peach pits from when I was canning peaches that I'm just going to randomly throw out along the grass line. I've thrown a couple out already. I'm thinking if I can throw out 50 peach pits, there's got to be at least one. Come on, at least one. You hear stories of people all the time talking about, man, I just threw that peach pit out there and here it is 50 years later producing the best peaches. Dude, I want that. Please, just give me that. Okay. Well, we'll see. We have these other plants right here, and they're supposed to produce what they call sand plums. And I didn't really realize it until they were mostly picked clean from the birds. So, and then this year I didn't seem to get to them fast enough either. I don't even know exactly when their season is. But, yeah. So we have these woods here. Needs to get cleaned up. The goats have done a pretty decent job of kind of filtering it out a little bit, and Tim's been able to get in. We really want to get these woods back here, but oh, we have these vines, these very sharp, thorny vines, and they grow everywhere, and they grow all up into the trees, and they start at the ground, and it just makes it difficult to walk through. Plus, I'm afraid of the snakes and all this undergrowth. So really, what I want is one of those, like push behind brush mulcher thingies so that I can, you know, push it in between these trees and small limbs and stuff like that and chew up all this undergrowth, and possibly any snakes that are hiding out in the undergrowth that could be dangerous to me as I'm walking through, or rather scare them off so that they don't get injured. But yeah, because I'd really like to be able to use these woods. I love going for walks around our property. That's really, I get a lot of exercise working this property and then just enjoying it. So the goats are happy to have some leaves finally on these trees. They picked them pretty clean, and so they're super excited. Oh, well, there you go. I gotta remember, my goats are smaller, so gotta angle the camera down quite a bit. Yeah, they like these leaves. They're kind of all over. So I really don't have to worry about these goats that are in the back. Well, there's Miss Priya. As you can tell, there's no baby yet. She doesn't seem to be dropped. Her udder still seems to be the same size, right? So we're not really thinking it's today, but I'm still going to keep her in. Anyway, I'm not worried about the goats that are in the back because the dogs are here and they're not going to go too far. It's these ones in the front because they go out in the road, and that's a problem. Cars will come up over that hill and they'll hit one of my goats, and then I'll be absolutely devastated. Not to mention the fact I'd probably be liable for the accident. So, I'm sorry, who was saying hi to me? Well, is it that very handsome Slim Shady? You're looking pretty slim. Let me see your pretty face. Let me see your pretty face. You running away from me, boy? Look at that pretty face. Look at that gorgeous face. Mr. Shady. Hi. Okay. He's got his buck apron on because, well, see that? So that when he stands up to mount any of the girls, he can't get to them. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. Look, JJ, she's doing really well. She didn't have a fever. I did manage to do it by myself. It's very difficult to hold her collar, reach around her backside, lift her tail, insert thermometer, and keep her from moving on, because my arm span just isn't that big. But I did it. She didn't have a fever. She's recovered nicely. You can see that she's eaten and she's feeling much better. So that's good. You know, goats can eat poison ivy. That's pretty cool. We have had some on our property. So this right here, this is nightshade, right? We usually will pick this and get it out of there, but sometimes these berries drop and then they reseed. So that's always something. I'm not going to do it right now because I have to have gloves on and dispose of it properly. But that's always something that we're looking for in our property so that we can get that out, because it is toxic for goats. So one of the fastest ways to counteract toxicity in the goats from eating something they shouldn't eat is activated charcoal. So we do keep that readily available on the farm, and we're not afraid to use it. Huh? Yes. My daughter tells me that there's stories in these trees. These down trees, there's stories. Yeah. So we've been working on this. You can see some of these vines. See how they just kind of take over. There's also this one. It's a Carolina creeper. That one's not toxic, but it's very invasive. And sometimes people confuse it for poison ivy, but it's not. So it doesn't have the 3 leaves. I think it has 4 or 5. Anyway, so my property is so beautiful. I absolutely love it, especially in the fall. Oh my goodness. And then my neighbor's property, I love being able to look out over those trees. Look at that. So beautiful. He's got a gorgeous property that just adds to ours. Adds to our view. Hi, buddy. What you doing? They stay with the goats for the most part. One of the problems, though, why the goats will go in the road is that the dogs, when the goats are out here, the dogs will check out the perimeter and make sure that everything is safe. And to them, they don't understand that our perimeter stops at the road. All they know is that it continues into that pasture across the street. And so so they'll often go and check that out there, and so they keep that safe for my neighbor too. And we check with him frequently to make sure that they're not causing any trouble. But anyway, but when they're casual like this and they're just checking stuff out, some of these younger ones, they'll follow them, especially, where are they? Sis and Fern, they're notorious for following the dogs across the street. Hi, Miss Dina. Miss Dina is the first child of Abby, who is my first goat. And she is the face of the company. And she is the spitting image of her mama. And she, let's see, her dad was Archimedes, is it Artemis? I can't remember. I never can get it right. But anyway, was a buck that was loaned to us from my dear friend Emily. But I'm going to say a shout out to Emily because today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Emily. Okay, but anyway, so he sired her and she's beautiful and I'm super happy with her and I'm super excited to see what beautiful babies she gives me. And she is, let's see, she is in the first, so she was, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to really think about this. She was February 3rd, she was born. So that makes her, how old is it? Wait, it's October, so she's 8 months. So technically she could get pregnant. For Nigerian dwarfs, you want to wait until they're 9 months at least. But we're not going to do, so this group, so it'd be Dina, Sis and Fern over there, Thistle and Whiskey, and April. But April is a Boer La Mancha, and so they usually wait until they're like 18 months because they're a bigger goat. Miss Julia, she was born, I want to say in August, so she's already old enough to breed, which I'm contemplating breeding her. So, she would be producing babies to be delivered in April or May, along with Katie Sperry, and along with, where's my girl? Elsie. Elsie out there. Elsie gonna have babies. And Katie Sperry. And Julia. And Miss Twyla. I want to have babies. And Miss JJ. Where's JJ? And also, you can't see her because she's hiding behind Miss JJ, but they'll know. So those are the ones that I'm wanting to have babies this spring. And yeah, so they're gonna get bred at the latest next month. So I think I might have missed Villanelle by a day. Come on, babies! So I want them grazing this area because this is where the downed leaves are and the acorns are. But it's a real thin line as to how close they can get to the road before I start freaking out. And before Tim goes and fetches the lawnmower to scare them all back here. Abby, go get your baby! They're not very good about keeping their babies with them. That's the baby's job, to stay with mom. And these babies, they elude me a little bit, so. Come on, Chatter! Come on, buddy! Hi, Chatter! Yeah. Hi, Chatter! He's a handsome boy, huh? Yeah. Oh, he's going straight to Mom of the Year, Carmela. I mean, not Carmela. Oh, she said, no, boy, you're too old now. He was going to try and nurse her, and she said, no. She's the one that adopted him and his brother when their mom died. So, he has a Boer mother, and he was bred to a mini La Mancha buck. The one that I don't have anymore. His name is Duncan. We sold him because we decided we didn't want the minis. Look at them sitting out there doing such a fine job. Yeah. They're just kind of all over, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, well, I shut it off. So, them darn guineas, they crack me up. So we're going to start it up again. Anyway, so I had, sorry, I think I didn't get this part recorded, so I'm just going to say it again. Had some technical difficulties with my episode 2, part 1 and part 2. It recorded and then it deleted, and so I just took them down because some of the videos were missing and I'm not smart enough to figure out where they're at. My kids are too far away to help me, so y'all just have to miss episode 2. Just wonder what kind of things did I talk about, and what kind of shenanigans did my goats get into, and did I fall on my face because I was wearing the wrong shoes? You'll never know. Anyway, so we're done for the day. I'll let you get pictures of my cute little babies. There's Valentine. Valentine is a character in my daughter's book, as is Lilliput. This is Earl. Earl used to be Pearl, but then Earl became I don't even know what you call male guineas, but he identified himself as a male, and so now Earl is the head guinea. And you can tell with the way that he postures, he keeps his head up, he opens his wings, the way that he runs at the girls, and then the size of his cone and his little ear flaps, those are different. So anyway, but now he's going to chase off all of our babies. They're being jerks to our babies. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, the goats like this area. This is pretty overgrown. They're like, yes, lots of goodies. So we're heading to the dump this weekend, so we're kind of accumulating stuff around the farm, stuff that we can take. You know, baskets that have broken down, barrels that we've dug up, chair that didn't make the Oklahoma sunshine, trampolines that the goats have demolished, broken down fencing. Hi, Candice! Okay, hey, I'm gonna sign off, and hopefully we can get these episodes up. And one of the questions that I asked yesterday that you guys didn't get to see is, I was talking about this real pretty girl right here, Miss Georgie. And I wanted to know if anybody remembers what her super contribution to the farm is. Put it in the comments if you think that you know what it is. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.